Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Marathi.
Hare Krishna. Let's start with the prayers. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaya Kada Mahyam Dadanti Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hariharaya Nama Krishnaya Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Govindaya Namaha Sri Krishna Hari Bol Gopala Hari Bol Radha Ramana Govinda Hari Bol Sri Krishna Hari Bol Gopala Hari Bol Radha Ramana Govinda Hari Bol Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So welcome you all to the level 2 class, and today we are going to learn about chapter number 9, the most confidential knowledge about the Lord. Okay. So in the last chapter, Lord has said, like, unless you do a regular practice, it is next to impossible to remember me at the time of leaving the material body. And to do that sadhana, various Ashtanga yoga and all those things he has told, but of most, the Bhakti Yoga is the topmost thing by which we can concentrate on the Lord and we can remember him at the time of leaving the material body. So with that small introduction, I think we have discussed all about the Goloka, Vaikuntha Loka, the Goloka chant, isn't it? So how the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is going to help us to progress further in the bhakti. So this is the most confidential knowledge. At the same time, it is, I can say, a sandwich between the Karma Yoga chapters, and it's very much in the middle of the Bhakti Yoga chapter than the Jnana Yoga chapter. So it is something like the most precious thing has been protected before and after by certain parameters. Similarly, the most confidential knowledge, the Raja Guhya Yoga is been protected by the Karma Yoga and the Jnana Yoga chapter. So today we will come to know how important it is and what does it say. Shri Shri Radha Govind ki jai. Again, just a recap of what we have learned in the previous chapter. Okay. Seventh chapter is all about the superior and inferior energy of the Lord and different type of people who take the shelter of the Lord, and four type of people who don't have any faith in the Lord. So coming to the chapter 8 again is Lord Krishna explains that an unannoyed, that is continuous, undeviated and pure devotion service surpasses the path of light and darkness. Now Krishna will explain how to become such a devotee. Okay. Chapter 8 also concludes that bhakti is the best form of the yoga one can do, and it gives us a specific knowledge required for performing the most confidential yoga. Okay. Seventh and ninth are virtually identical. Chapter 8 can be seen as a tangent in the conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, clearing up some important point before continuing. Okay. So what does this chapter 9 say? Hearing about Krishna's qualifications and disqualifications have been explained. Aishwarya Jnana and Krishna Achintya Bheda, relationship with the material world, non-worshippers and worshippers. Krishna is the supreme object of worship, the glories of the directly worshipping the Krishna. Okay. The same thing is being explained in a tabular form. So coming to the first one, hearing about Krishna qualifications and disqualification. Non-envious towards the Lord allow one to hear confidential knowledge about Krishna and faithlessness, and forces one to the birth and death. Okay. So we will see. Shri Bhagavan idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anusuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshaye subha. The Supreme Lord said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, now he got the qualification to hear from the Lord. I shall impart to you this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of the material existent. Okay. Yeah, Lord Krishna imparts the most confidential knowledge and realization to Arjuna. Why means the sequential order again, chapter 2 and 3, the knowledge of spirit, soul, and the body useful for liberation. So in detail, we have learned about it, that the soul is permanent and the body, which is the physical body, is temporary. And we need to nurture the soul by continuously doing the sadhana towards the Lord. So in that way, the inner soul will be satisfied and it will be directed towards the bhakti activities. Okay, chapter 7 and 8, knowledge bring about which enlightenment about Krishna consciousness, the Supreme Lord and his energies. We'll have a clarity about the what is superior energy of the Lord and inferior energy of the Lord. Superior energy of the Lord is the soul, okay, which we have discussed in second chapter in detail. And ultimately, we have to do the sadhana towards fulfilling the soul's desire. Okay, and the inferior energy again is the temporary body which we all possess, which we have to leave it once the time period of that particular body is been done. So in that timeline, we need to refresh the soul and bring it back to the same stage in which we have received it. That is possible only by doing the sadhana. Okay. Chapter 9, because it deals with a pure unalloyed devotion and delineates the glories of the Lord. Okay. So once you are purified, I mean, that means once you are beyond your materialistic manifestations, like in the present chapter, how Arjuna has come to that stage. Now you are eligible to receive the knowledge of the Lord. Okay. And Lord Krishna imparts most confidential knowledge and realization to Arjuna, also called as Raja Vidya, because he is free from all sort of a contamination. He is non-envious And that is the first and foremost quality. The one can receive that. And what is the mean to receive is by Shravanam, proper hearing from the spiritual master. And what are the benefits is this? You will get relief from the miseries of the material existence. Okay. It is also called the king of education. Okay. And these are the 9 types of devotional services. Okay. With certain examples, it has been given. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Okay. And Shravanam, Parikshit Maharaj is an example that when he was in the womb of Mother Uttara, he has heard about all the scriptures when he was in mother's womb in the shelter of Narad Muni. Okay. Next, Kirtanam, Sukadeva Goswami. Smaranam, again remembering Krishna. Padasevanam, you can see Goddess Lakshmi serving the Lord. Archana, Maharaja Prithu. Vandanam, we have an King Akrura, and Dasyam is again Lord Hanuman serving the Sri Ramchandra, and Sakhyam is Sudama and all the Gopabalas, and Atmanivedanam is the Bali Maharaj. Okay, these are the various type of devotion service by which we can connect to the Lord. So any one you can pick. If you are able to pick up more than one also, it's okay. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshavagam Dharmyam Susukham Kartumavyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secret. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. Okay. So this is the secret of the secret, and only by being a non-envious, receiving that from the proper source, that is a spiritual master, it can enlighten you and it can take you further in the bhakti sadhana. Okay. Further glorification of the most confidential knowledge is Rajavidya is the king of all education because it is the essence of all doctors and philosophies. Rajaguhya, most confidential knowledge, talks about the eternal activities of the soul and thus gives the positive information. Okay. Further glorification of the most confidential knowledge. Okay, sinful reactions has 4 stages. That is from a seed to a different, like till a tree. This analogy is discussed in detail in NOI. So 4 types of sinful reactions. One is in the stage of a seed. It may remain in the stage of a seed. It will not progress further. One may progress. The seed may get sowed. So little budding form may develop. It may come to that stage. Some will take to the form of a herb and a shrub, and some will grow to a form of a tree and start bearing the fruits. So one receives the benediction or the suffering depending on that sinful reaction stages, So how they are progressing, based on that, they will be receiving the results of it. Okay. Purifying potential of the devotional service is very strong, that it will take away all the sinful reaction, and at the same time the sadhana itself will make you purified within. Then all your past sinful reactions will go away. Okay. Stages of reaction: avidya, that is ignorance towards the scriptures of the Lord, and what the results what we get by doing the sadhana. So bija is the sinful desires what we put inside. The seeds stage what we are talking about is the sinful. The seed is the sin. Okay. And papam, the sinful actions. Once we have that sinful desire, then we try to act in such a way that there is some end result to that. Then there is a aprarabdha, that is unmanifest reaction. Definitely it is like a missense mutation or a missing mutation in the DNA will cause some amount of deformed DNA, which will lead to different disease process. So similarly, the sinful desires are like missense mutations or missing mutations, which will lead you to deviate from the usual path of the bhakti and result in a unmanifest reactions, and so eventually the more one does, the more it get accumulated in the various stages and all. But um some experience that results of their prarabdha karma in the present life. Some, if they are not fortunate enough to get liberated in this material world, and that will carry forward to the next life, and they will have to manifest that prarabdha karma, and there will be a suffering. So to get away from all these things, the moment you realize that there is some sinful reaction, then try to get away with that by indulging one in a strong bhakti. So one step we take towards the Lord, it will relieve us from all sort of miseries. Okay. So for the glorification of the most confidential knowledge, pratyakshavagammam, direct perception of self by realization. How to get direct perception of the self? By practicing devotional service in association of advanced devotees. So always we should be in a group who are practicing the similar. So the devotee association, when we get associated with the senior devotee, it will help us to progress further in the bhakti. So example is by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra without any offense, one feel transcendental pleasure and get purified quickly. And also if one further helps in the mission, one makes a spiritual progress. Okay. So again, the qualification is advancement is irrespective of previous education or the qualification. You should be taking a step towards the Lord, which will help you further. For the glorification of the most confidential knowledge, dharmyam, perfection of religion, susukham, blissful, avyayam, eternally, everlasting. Ashraddhana purusha dharmisya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmaman. Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of foes, but return to the birth and death in this material world. Okay, those who are not serious in the bhakti sadhana, again, they have to take birth in this material world to complete their prarabdha karmas cycle. Okay. Again, the most confidential knowledge, what Lord is saying is the faithless cannot attain Krishna, and simply by serving Krishna, one can achieve all perfection as per the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The analogy here is you're just watering the root of the plant, automatically the tree will get required nutrients. Okay. If you are just watering the leaves and all, it will not make your root stronger. Similarly, faith is defined to that we need to root the tree. Similarly, we have to practice in the lines by which we are free from all sort of contaminations and make our faith stronger. Okay. And how it is created? By having a devotee association. Okay. No good faith and knowledge of scriptures easily fall down. This is again the third stage. Once one who do not have a proper faith and they have a wavering mentality, and if anybody says no, this is not good and this is right and all, they did quickly, within no time, they shift to the other sort of a bhakti. So that is said to be the third level of a, or the entry level devotee or a neophyte devotee. Okay, second level is that they are having a firm faith, and but they are not very advanced in devotion scriptures and simply trying to follow by association and simplicity. Okay, and first level devotees are the firm faith and well versed in devotion scriptures, and there is no chance of fall down. Okay, so Lord wants us to advance towards the first level devotee to progress towards him. Okay, development of that faith is the process of Krishna consciousness. Okay, so now moving on to the next section, that is called Aishwarya Jnana, Krishna Achintya Bheda, Abheda relationship with the material world. Krishna pervades, creates and annihilates the entire cosmos because he is the creator, he is ultimately the maintainer, and at the end, he is the one who destroys all the material energy which he has created. Although Krishna is the supreme director, the material world nevertheless moves independently and the status thus remains neutral and detached. So he's the creator and he's a maintainer, but again, he's not contaminated by all the material manifestations which is happening. Okay. Maya tatammitam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshva avastita. By me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me and I am not in them. Okay. So Lord is all pervaded and everything is again the energy of the Lord. But in all this materialistic manifestations, Lord is a distant viewer, but he is not involved in all those things. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulences. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, although I am everywhere, still myself is the very source of a creation. As the blowing wind blowing everywhere always rests in ethereal space, know that in a small manner all beings rest in me. Okay. So thou he is the ultimate creator, maintainer, and annihilated, but is free from all sort of a materialistic contamination. So whatever one person does as per his interaction with the materialistic manifestation, he has to take an account of that. Okay. Yeah, living entities do not rest upon Krishna. A yogam aishwaryam, that is inconceivable mystic opulences of the Lord, and how aloof examples are examples of inconceivable opulences, avyayam, eternal, lasting. So, see, the materialistic manifestations, whatever is happening, we try to interact in the world by sattva, raja, and tamoguna, okay, and produce certain amount of reactions. So thou Lord is a source of it, but he is totally not directly involved in all these things. So he sees like what's happening, but we as an individual who are doing the materialistic manifestation or the karma has to take the end results of it. Okay. Everything that is created does not rest in me, although implies all the everything rests in him. Still, he is aloof and not directly concerned with the maintenance. Okay, not like at last who is tired of holding the globe. Okay, so that is the reason why. So many times, if a person in a problem, he will say, "Why did you create me? Why did you give me so many problems? And why I am suffering?" The other people are good, the comparison wise. So many things will comes in our mind when we are in a deep pain and all. So here is the answer. He is the creator and he'll give you required raw material. You know, it is exactly like that. That it is your quota of material which I have given you because you're in a material world. It is how we shape up that raw material to our benefit. So we will enjoy the benefit of it. If we are able to use it in a perfect way to design the perfect thing which will benefit us, we'll be benefited out of it. Okay. And if we are using that because of lack of ignorance or lack of knowledge, and if you are trying to make it a defective one, the results will be defective. So we should be very cautiously enough from the very beginning to use that raw material to our benefit. That means doing the sadhana from the very beginning. The moment we come to know that this is going to relieve us, we have to take up that path and do the sadhana. Okay. So likewise, I think it is clear now that Lord Krishna is the one who gives you the required material, but he is not at all, what do you say, involved in any of the outcome what you make out of that material. So similarly, many times, you know, we come to this material world out of suffering and all. So the suffering is all because of our manifestations. Lord has nothing to do with that. My son of Kunti, at the end of millennium, all materialistic manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, By my potency, I create them again. So this has been compared to the Brahma's day and night. Brahma's day, every living entity coming to the existence. And during the Brahma's night, everything will get destroyed. Again, they have to repeat the cycle. The whole cosmic order is under me, and by my will, it will be manifested again and again. And by my will, it will annihilate at the end. So, oh Dhananjay, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached, seated as a neutral. So thou he is the created. He don't have any so he's totally free and free from all sort of contaminations. Okay. Lord Krishna's relationship with the creation and destruction, material energy, that is the inferior energy of the Lord, of Supreme Personality of the Godhead. We have discussed in detail in 7th chapter. So how Krishna's creation refutes the modern concept of a evolution. Okay. Modern concept, there is a gradual evolution of species from one to another, beginning from the creation. Krishna's creation, all species of life are created immediately along with the universe at the beginning of creation, and not one after the another based on desires and past deeds of the living entities. Okay. And how the material world is maintained if Krishna is, as Parmeshwara is aloof. Okay. He will be present, everything will be done, but he will be free, he will be just watching it. He is totally free from any sort of the reactions what we do. So, and no direct involvement of the Lord. He does not create or destroy. Okay. So it will come with a certain time limit. After this, it will automatically go for the annihilations. And the basis of the creation is to accommodate inclinations or the desires of the various living entity. It is our own desire. See, if we desire to go to Krishna, we will do the sadhana and we'll go back to the Goloka. But if we desire towards the materialistic manifestation, towards the family members or towards the possessions what we have, or any other thing, again, the desires within will make you come here again and again. So, thou Krishna has created and he is the source for all these things. He is totally not, uh, not at all responsible for the end results what we are observing or undergoing. Okay. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate chacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created, annihilated again and again. So this goes on like a cycle, the creation, maintenance, and the annihilation, creation, maintenance, and annihilation. So this goes on in a circles. So coming to the next section, that is the non-worshippers and the worshippers. Fools who think Krishna is an ordinary man and he has a temporary form and he has come, he is playful. They think, they comment about he being born as a human form, doing the Rasa Leela and all those manifestations, again, it is for the people who don't have any knowledge about the Lord, and definition qualification of a Mahatma we will come to know. Okay. Avajananti mamudha manushim tam nomashritam param bhavam majananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominant, all that be. Okay, so it's all the avidya towards the Lord which will make one to say about him like that he has come in a human form. So jananti, ajananti, avajananti. Okay. So understanding about Krishna, Lord Krishna is the truth leading to liberation, is the jnana what we have, and ultimately try to focus our activity towards the Lord. Ajananti is the ignorance of Lord Krishna, continue in the cycle of birth and death, that we think that we are eternal and try to get attached to all the materialistic manifestations and come to the cycle of birth and death. Avajananti is misunderstanding about the Krishna will lead to the increase bondages and a greater suffering. And you can see lust, greed, and anger, which will take you to the downward planets. So it's all about our thought process and thinking process, which will take you further. Okay. Moga samoga karmano moga jnana vichetasa rakshasim masurim jaiva prakritim mohinam shriya. So those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and ascetic views, and that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, the fruitive activities, and the culture of knowledge are all defeated. Okay. So again, whatever we suffer is all because of the thought process, what we have in our mind. Okay. Krishna, thou is the source of creation of all these things, but the materialistic manifestation is a man-made only, and we have to take the complete responsibility of that. Okay. The fate of a Duratma, okay, fate of those who out of bewilderment disrespect Krishna's form. They are attracted by demonic and ascetic views. Hopes for liberation, fruitive activities, and culture of knowledge are all defeated. Okay. So again, the wrong people will have the wrong outcome. Okay. Mahatmanastu mam parda daivim prakritamashritah bhajanti ananyamanaso gyatva bhutatim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of a divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So, because the one who has a perfect knowledge of the Lord, okay, he will not get deviated from any sort of materialistic contamination and try to fully engage in devotion service of the Lord. And because they know that Supreme Personality of the Godhead can only deliver him from this cycle of birth and death, and they don't miss a chance to do the complete sadhana. Okay. So I think we'll stop here, and rest we will try to complete tomorrow. Just a minute. Meanwhile, I'll try to post the attendance link. Any questions or doubts you can ask meanwhile? Yeah, here I posted the link. Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Thank you, participants, for your active participation. See you all tomorrow at 6 a.m. Hare Krishna.